Beetroot, nature's powerhouse, packed with vitamins, antioxidants and nitrates, it's known to support heart health, boost stamina and improve blood circulation. Our beetroot is naturally grown and harvested at peak ripeness. The roots are cleaned, dried and finely ground to preserve their rich nutrition content, giving you all the benefits in one pure form. Add 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder to your juice, smoothie or water, or take it in capsule form as recommended by your healthcare provider. Beetroot helps enhance endurance, lower blood pressure, and keep you feeling energized and balanced all day. Fuel your body with the natural power of beetroot. Stay strong, stay healthy. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
For only $20.90. Good afternoon, family. Karibuni sana. Good evening from my end. 43 minutes past the top of the hour, and welcome to another beautiful episode of the Africa Today Show. Hope you're doing amazing, having a beautiful Tuesday so far. Of course, to everyone who's live with me on Rumble, on Beetroot, on YouTube as well. If it is your first time, kindly hit that follow button, subscription button, and ensure you also hit that like button as well, and download our app on the Google Play Store. Blackout Fire Network is the name where you can get yourself some beetroot, ashwagandha, multivitamin, amazing products, all organic, moringa pure, and also some skincare products if you want to stay pretty and young looking, all organic. Karibuni sana. Welcome, Keith. How you doing?
Wow, Shanti Shana. I don't know if you guys can hear me now. I'm in the backwoods
Yeah, I
of
can
some
hear you.
shit I ain't never been. I'm in the deep woods of Arkansas, baby.
Mm,
Woo!
be careful, so long
Yeah,
as it's not a sundown town. Oh, you're good.
I gotta go. I gotta go there later. That's the cap. I gotta go to Little Rock later, but I'm in the backwoods. I'm about, shit, I'm a long way from Little Rock. I gotta go to a little town called Camden. Then I gotta go to Little Rock. But man, there's some racist shit out here, boy. Woo! I ain't
Take
never
care.
been over here.
Take care out there. Bakaribuni sana family. Hope you're doing amazing. To the rest of everyone who's listening and of course tuning in, and to those who shall be catching this on a replay, hope you guys do get to enjoy as we get to save time without literally wasting much of the time which I've already wasted with our lights. Man, I'm so pissed. It's just crazy how lights keep on disappearing. It's not making sense. It's not completely. The time I was even talking to you earlier, they just disappeared. I was
I
talking to my.
know. I wonder what
Yeah,
happened to you. I
yeah,
mean,
because
what happened?
I was even like, because I was still looking at the laptop trying to
Hmm.
find something to watch, then boom, they just disappeared. It's crazy. But anyway, as we start with today's conversation, where we shall be focusing on of course, the black student who has been found hanging from a tree that is in Delta University State. We shall be talking about that as we see how actually the media is less focusing on this conversation. Charlie Kirk is
Why? Because
everywhere.
he's black.
Everyone is talking
Hey,
about.
Charlie Kirk is still everywhere. Like I said,
Mhm.
this is a psyop with Charlie Kirk. Like I said, I was talking to a friend today. I said, I trained as a sniper. There's no 22-year-old kid learn how to shoot that precise from that distance, dealing with windage, velocity, and also to be patient up in the middle of a crowd like that with all those people yelling and deliver a shot that precise. That's not happening. And then as I looked at it, I should have did the show this weekend. That's what I did. I woke up late. Um, and then also I went back. I kept going back because I don't believe nothing. I told you I had Joby had that 60-minute interview with the Mossad agent. We do everything. We control perception. We blah blah blah. I mean, knowing how bullets react from that distance, this should have been bone breaking from his body. It should have been splattered all on the wall. But there was no blood splatter on that wall behind him, on that white thing. And then also, I noticed they came in and started what? There was never no crime scene. They didn't put down any yellow tape. They just started taking everything down. And then we found out, there was an Israeli private plane down the road from the event that was allowed to take off when everything else was grounded. Isn't that a coincidence? It was an Israeli private plane. So shout out to the other guys saying the truth about who will. And then if you, I sent to Joby's phone with my other phone because you guys don't know my TikTok account got taken down. That was on my other phone, so my TikTok account is gone. Um, so I still got my backup account, but you know.
I
But
don't know if I'm gonna
anyway,
in those videos.
anyway, why not? You're not on TikTok.
No, it's not TikTok. The ones you even shared on WhatsApp, because I can't save the numbers on the laptop, so the links are coming blank, so you can't
Oh well,
save
that's
them.
okay. They're still coming, and that's still me, right?
Yeah. But I can't tap into the link. Like I can't view
Oh,
this. It can't take
okay.
me here.
Why you
So
doing? Why you using that with my other phone? I mean, with the phone I use now. I guess
no,
it's coming in from a different account. Okay, I don't know.
it's because the WhatsApp it's
Go
on the
ahead.
laptop. I can remember. Yeah, so it's not on my phone. It's not connected on my
Okay, well,
phone.
whatever. Okay. Oh, okay. So anyway, um, like I said, if you did,
We've started losing you now. You're in the woods now. We can't hear you now. We think you're now getting into the woods. But anyway, as we wait for Keith to come back, yeah, so we shall be focusing on that conversation, talk about still the Charlie Kirk all issue. We have some Black people who had something to say, including Candice Owens. We had Dr. Umar, who had something to say about Black people. He couldn't believe that Black people are shaming or celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. We shall also share literally how, with all that, and now they're not talking about the young man who's 16 years old. Someone said it was 15, but they're saying, others are saying it's 21, others are saying it's 16. You can't even tell which literally right age. But from the first articles I bumped into yesterday, they were saying he was 16 years old, who has been found hanging from a tree in Delta University. We shall focus on that and see how another study shows America is officially one of the least peaceful places on earth. So literally we talk about the racism, talk about the system, how it's set up in that country, how it is, I'd say, the carrier of so many things happening in the rest of the globe. Then America is one of the countries to point fingers. But we talk about pointing fingers. We talk about how Keith is one of the people who says, and I've heard most of you also say that today it's hard to hear or understand most of the, I'd say Black Americans, to be specific. I don't know. But this is generally the level of education, because they're talking about how right now the system of education is facing crisis, and to the point of most of the people can't even talk proper grammar. So I have 3 articles which I want to read and, of course, see how that is effective today. Because if this is where the Ebonics comes from, or where the effect comes from, then it should make us understand something. But they're saying, according to the recent data, the average high school senior cannot read professionally and cannot read proficiently, and reading level for high school seniors is the lowest it's been in 30 years. In 30 years, we're talking about literally people even older than me, people older than me who cannot talk proper grammar, or who have been affected by this data. So they're saying America's education system is facing a crisis. A new report reveals that the average US high school senior cannot read proficiently, and the lowest level in 30 years. Math scores are no better. Only 1/3 of the seniors are prepared for college level math, down 4% since 2019. While the decline is overall performance, while the decline in overall performance is alarming, the gap is even wider for Black students. A Student Ed Trust New York report found that 42% of the Black 8th graders scored below basic in reading, which is so crazy because personally growing up, I love reading, like I used to be one of those students you want to raise your hand to read storybooks, or you want to participate in, reading, when it's time for maybe grammar, you just want to be part of the people reading these stories of the class. Even in high school, I used to participate in that a lot. But it's crazy to see that 42% of the Black eighth graders scored below basic in reading and 56% in math.
Exactly.
National
I told
data.
you that. I told you. That's on purpose. They made
Mhm,
it like America morons now. What they were.
mhm,
Everybody can't talk. Why this rap
mhm,
that you listen to sounds all ignorant and crazy? It's the most moronic nonsense you ever heard. They can't put complete
mhm,
sense together because they don't know a complete sense. The idiots. So that's why the music is garbage. There's no.
mhm.
You must to even make art. You must have knowledge, Joe. You can't
Yeah.
be a moron. And these people create morons, and they're morons. You're just talking to kid like what? What? What you talking about?
True. True.
They
They're also
can't.
talking about
Go ahead,
the
Joe.
nat- the national data echoes this disparity. Before the pandemic, 84% of Black students lacked proficiency in math and 85% in reading, according to the National Assessment of Educational
That means they can't read or count, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
25%. So you have people becoming adults who are just absolutely. That's what you got on the internet. I told you. When you got on TikTok all this, I'm an Indian now. These are morons. That tells you right there. These are idiots. So they have
Yeah.
no critical thinking. These are 85% of Black America is now idiotic.
Which is crazy.
85%.
And they're saying that this is what has been in the last 30 years. That is what they're saying. So
I told you that's when you got integration, Joey. When
mhm,
black people went to the white school and been taught by white teachers who hate your ass. But
mhm.
before then, African people, black Africans and black Americans were the highest in the country as far as reading and math because they were getting taught by black women who actually loved them, Joby,
Yeah,
and cared
yeah,
about them. So your enemy's not gonna want to teach you, Joby.
true.
So there you
What
go.
Yeah, exactly. So the same experts also warn that the systematic barriers compound the problem. Black students are disciplined more frequently than white peers,
Yeah.
often beginning in preschool, and are underrepresented in access of laptops, advanced courses, and school counselors. These inequities.
Especially black boys. So remember, Joby, they put the black boys in. Remember, they put the black boys in special ed in the retarded school on retarded classes on purpose.
True, true.
Remember, because they don't want them competing with their own children for good jobs. They want to say that you're all stupid. They don't want to say that they got to compete with you.
Mm-hmm. They're also adding that the let me where was I? Former U.S. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona stressed that factors like race, disability, and gender still dictate student access to resources. Advocates call for solutions such as teaching reading across all subjects and rethinking disciplinary practices, quoting that they should governalize all of us. And yeah, and this other article also talks about, let me share this. It says the United States is facing a literacy crisis that shows no sign of slowing down. Recent study estimates that 1 in 5 American adults struggle with basic reading skills, while more than half of adults read below a sixth grade level. The numbers paint a troubling picture of a society where millions cannot fully navigate daily life, from understanding medical instruction, goddamn, to filling out a application.
You're talking about a nation full of morons, Joby. So you're
This is
talking about that's on purpose.
this
That's
is
on
crazy.
purpose. It's crazy.
You can't even fill a job application. This is so insane. The
Yeah.
consequences ripple across the economy and civil life. Low literacy is tied to reduced workforce participation, lower wages, and limited access to healthcare and financial stability. Analysis estimates that economic costs more than $2 trillion annually in lost productivity and increased social spending. A recent article highlights how literacy challenges are being felt acutely in I don't know, master what? I can read that. I'm not illiterate, but I can read that. Okay, I can read some words. English is I'm so sorry.
Talking
Massachusetts.
about literacy.
Hell no. Well, local nonprofits such as Fast Literacy of Boston are expanding scholarship programs and all that. But yeah, they're just talking about literally how the literacy level is so high. They're talking about there's no sign of slowing down. This is super, super bad. And then you go back to we have the system of
And,
education
and
itself.
understand it's based on race too, because they want to make sure you don't compete with them children. That's why you got school fees in Africa. Well, you got bad schools in Black America. They will make sure you can't compete with them. And then say, oh, and then blame it on your race. Oh, look at these Negroes in this test score. They're all morons. Look at them. This is Charlie Kirk. Look, you seen their test grades? You see, that's because they're black. They're poor and black and stupid.
It's on purpose because if you look at black children, actually they are geniuses. From just
Yeah.
look at a black child, what they can do, it's magic. We have black children who are inventors, and
Well, you
from them.
develop faster. They know that. So they know you develop faster as a people. So what they do, I gotta rig the game. I gotta handicap the game. So my children stay on top, and you stay as the slaves of my people. That's how they rig everything.
It's
That's
so crazy.
how they do it.
But we also have the Department of Education looking at also how this is also a big part of effect. The Department of Education is suspending $350 million in funding for minority serving
Well,
institutions.
that's
So,
Trump. That's Trump and them. They know exactly. I don't want.
mm,
Trump is also going to stop funding your colleges. You know, your HBCUs, your historically black college and university. Trump said, I don't want to get no more money to them either. So I told you, they want to make sure you can't compete with them. So now they want to defund your universities. See, that's right. No more money for you.
mhm. Yeah, so this took effect on 10th of September, where the Department of Education Secretary Linda McCon announced the DOE is suspending $350 million in funding and marked for minority serving institution. According to the New York Times, the move was met with swift criticisms across political and educational circles. And the
So we're
Democrats.
talking about that. That's the money for your college. That's your money for your colleges and everything. So they're saying, you know, you can't get into the white schools. They don't want you there. When they see your application with your goofy names, they're going to say, nope, rejected. That's why a lot of black people go to black colleges. And they're going to say, well, no more money for those colleges either. We're going to have you stupid. So now you can go clean up and clean up garbage by the side of the road. That's your job. You can go pick. They try to get you back on the plantation. Now you can go pick watermelons and tomatoes. There you go.
Mhm.
Understand,
Mhm.
it's always a vicious, evil cycle with these people.
Someone questions on
Go ahead,
probably
Jefferson.
try to understand the questions here. Someone questions, weren't all funds stopped for education as a whole? This is a question for.
Of course not. Of
Mhm.
course not. Not stuff for all white people. They just told you minority, they mean black people. So that's a code of, when they say minority, they mean black. Okay? Change the name minority to black. See, they can't sound openly racist. They gotta use cold talk. Oh, we're gonna stop funding minority universities. Who's that? Black
Mhm.
people. That's who.
Exactly. And that is also one of the comments. Someone said they don't want they are scared of the educated people. That is what they're saying, and exactly what Trump is admitting right here.
Don't like what we
Exactly what Trump is admitting right here.
don't like what we talk about. Smart people don't like me, and they don't like what we talk about. Smart people don't like me.
And then
We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. We're the smartest
Well,
people. We're the most loyal people. We won with highly
of course,
educated.
like the
We won with poorly
Mhm.
educated. I love the poorly educated. We're the smartest people. We're the most loyal people.
Yeah, so this is crazy. This is and what can we say? What are some people supposed to do about that? Because this is something that has been effective as much as even they're taking funds,
What
some
you're going to do,
funds.
Joby? You're going to start educating your children. Like you said, you're going to have children with a purpose. So you're going to have to start setting up a curriculum for your children through the internet. You're going to do homeschooling for your children. So you make sure they're highly educated. But
Mhm.
our culture has been destroyed so much that we got morons raising morons, and that's a problem.
Mhm. That
So
is so
until
true.
you, yeah, you got morons raising morons. So
Mhm.
until you have a onus back on school, now back on and fucking Instagram and all kind of nonsense, until you
You're breaking.
so educated. Go ahead.
I can hear you, but in bit, yeah, but I understand what you're saying. We need to bring now we go back to
Go ahead.
homeschooling. Literally, we need to go back to homeschooling where since we know what this system is trying to hide from the rest of the generation, this is where we need to go back to teaching our children what is real, and that is, I do support that. I do actually, I go with that too, because if you talk about fighting this system, I don't think it's gonna take years. It's gonna take your whole lives and have another production or product of the same education, because you'd be fighting a system that won't get rid of what you're trying to fight for, and your children or your generation is still stuck in the same system while you're trying to fight what they would not willing to change. But yeah, I think homeschooling that can make a change fast. The more of the population that comes now out with critical thinking of understanding what is happening, because that is what again we're denied, like Keith was saying earlier, which I think it should just be normal. But because again, the people, majority of our folks we grew up with also, critical thinking was never applied, or actually it was all about religion. Critical thinking for them is more of religion. If you love Jesus, if you're saved in that house, that is critical thinking. You are doing amazing as a person. But yeah, so the more the generation of people we raise who can actually critically think, question things, understand things easily without having to think 10 times higher, it's the better that we can come out and have this spirit to fight actually, and the confidence, because you
They
build a
can't
confidence.
treat you got to have normal skills. So you got to be able to read and write and do math. You got to have normal things that it's crazy. But I knew we were so bad because me being on the street talking to people, all this crazy slang that on. So what the hell can anybody put a complete sentence together? What the hell is going on? This is absolutely insane. Get online and listen to these morons. You're like, make your head hurt. It's crazy.
It's crazy, but we I don't know. I don't want to share one of those videos people talking Ebonics. It's gonna it's gonna take time, but yeah, I understand it. But yeah, this is part of why they're getting rid of also the real education, because number one, they've not even been teaching real history. But even with the little history that is there, they're
No,
still
they don't.
erasing.
They don't want to teach race because it shows them who they are. They don't. History's gonna be taken away. They don't want history's got to be taken away at all costs, Joby. Because history,
Yeah.
they're always the bad guys when they try to pretend they move to the good guys. They're the bad guys, the homicidal, the genocidal maniacs. So
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to have any real history ever taught. They're against any history taught. That's why you
Exactly.
don't get nowhere.
Mhm. We have the Trump administration, which has ordered the removal of signs of exhibition related to slavery at multiple
See?
national parks,
So see,
including
so see, so he's trying to stop what actually what they did. See, was that a problem? Why they keep trying to erase? And they don't, like you said, and they don't even tell the real history of slavery. They sugarcoat it. They whitewashed it. They don't tell the heinous shit they did. Like, when we do and the sad thing, you're not taught this when remember you guys as a kid at Halloween and they had those jack-o'-lanterns and stuff. We didn't know that came from slavery. Back in the day, they would take a black person's skull and skin all the meat off the skull and light it up and put it on poles. Now black people say you bet not try to escape. If you do this, what's going to happen to you? That's where jack-o'-lanterns came from. We never knew that. We just going to Halloween, not know we got jack-o'-lantern from a pumpkin. We didn't know that was no pumpkin. It was from a black man, a woman's head, a skull. His or her skull being cut out. That's right. The viciousness stuff. Huh, Joey?
I'm surprised. The pumpkin thing, the Halloween pumpkin thing
Yeah,
with
there you go. Yeah, Joey. Yeah. Go, do this for me real quick. Joey,
okay.
go to TikTok or anything and say, say, say the jack-o'-lantern pumpkins really came from slavery. See what pops up. Yeah, exactly. So in Africa they run around with the jack-o'-lantern because they really carrying an African man or woman's head.
The jack. Can you spell it? Jacqueline.
I'm not just say the pumpkin, the Halloween pumpkin. I don't know the name. I don't know, but that shit jack-o'-lantern. Say the Halloween pumpkin, car pumpkin came from slavery. The Halloween car pumpkin came from slavery.
Yeah, this is crazy. Oh my God. Just always celebrating things we don't even know.
Nah, I don't celebrate Halloween
Exactly.
and all that and carve out the pumpkin because I know from slavery, you know, my
Exactly.
ancestors were slaves. So I know what the pumpkin stand for when they used to hang us
Yeah.
and put the pumpkin on top of
Hang
our
it.
head. I'm not inviting that energy into my life. Yeah, that's what that is.
I know
That jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
Nah, the jack-o'-lantern. Yeah, I'm not supposed to jack. Yeah, the jack-o'-lantern's a black person. They put on top of his head. They used to beat their head. They take your skull. Your skull was the jack-o'-lantern, Joe.
This is crazy.
hope I ain't traumatized you again, Joby.
This is so insane, man. Why people are sick? This is crazy. Ah, man.
Hey, put the pumpkin, man, gouge his eyes out, everything. Put the pumpkin.
This is what I'm talking about. This is the history they're not teaching you in America. Megan,
They're not gonna teach you that history, Joby. That's exactly right. You see, Trump is trying to get rid of slavery history now. Is what he's running because it's so evil, Joby.
God. Megan Thee Stallion being a black person and of course being part of this industry, I've seen her wearing that thing a lot. So the fact that she's black and doesn't know this, it tells a lot about the system of education in that.
They're not. We need a system education. They're not gonna teach that, Joby. I learned that when I was growing. I learned that like 15 years ago. I didn't know that. I was grown. I learned that like I was 35, 37 years old, Joby. I'm a grown man with children.
Oh my
I'm just learning that. I learned that shit like I was 37, 38 years old.
That's what that did, hanging from a tree.
damn.
Nah, I don't celebrate.
Crazy.
I don't celebrate Halloween.
You can't get mad about somebody never been taught something, Joe. They don't know about it. I didn't never know about that. That was like 37 years old or some shit.
No. I'm not mad. I'm just saying this is the main reason they're not
There you go.
teaching you.
Oh, there you go. Do that one. That's the AI voice. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying this is the main reason they're not teaching you real history because this is something that should be known. We shouldn't be doing this. People should not be doing that.
Exactly.
That is disrespectful.
How about that? So I did it because I didn't know.
In America weren't pumpkins. They were the skulls of black slaves, burned black and lit from within. Enslavers twisted old Celtic rituals into something even darker. After lynchings and executions, the skulls of enslaved Africans were sometimes taken, hollowed, and blackened in fire. Flames were placed inside the bone, turning a human head into a lantern of terror. It wasn't about Halloween fun. It was about fear. These lanterns sent a brutal message: run, resist, or rebel, and this will be your fate. Over time, America buried the truth pumpkins replaced skulls, and the story was rewritten to sound innocent, but the roots were soaked in black suffering. So when you see a glowing pumpkin on a porch, remember it began with the skulls of enslaved black people, burned and desecrated to keep us in chains. Halloween hides the horror, but we refuse to forget.
Truth.
This is so crazy. Oh my God. This is so insane. Yeah, this is why I go back to that article. America, oh my God, this is so crazy. America is one of the least peaceful places on earth. Like, this is this is this is disturbing. That is very, very disturbing. And
It's more,
Halloween is
it's more,
actually,
it's more, yeah, coming up next month. It's more disturbing shit than that, Joby.
oh my
I just
God,
want, it's more disturbing shit than that. And that's why they don't want that told. That's why they want that here. They want the history erased, Joby.
this is crazy. But back on this article, they're saying the Trump administration has mandated the removal of certain historical exhibits and signage, from U.S. national parks, aiming to eliminate content deemed to reflect a corrosive ideology that disapparages, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, yeah, disapparages historic Americans. This directive
Yeah,
stemming from a March executive
it means
order.
disparages. It means disparages. Or disparages means to talk bad. To tell the truth is talking bad about the white people. They're supposed to be loved, and moronic black people say that's my Jesus and my Lord and my God. Whoa! That's so you having any disparaging thing talking about making a nigga into a pumpkin, Joby, that disparages white people. And how
Wow,
dare you, you
this,
filthy nigga, you.
this is crazy. They're saying that this is directive stemming from a March executive order and has led to the removal of materials related to slave racism and other forms of
Of course.
historical discrimination. A notable example is the 1863 photograph known as the scarage back, with depicts the scar on the back of Peter Gordon, an enslaved man who escaped to freedom. This
That's
image,
that.
while
That's that. Remember, that's the movie we seen with Will Smith. You guys remember? They showed him the movie. His back is all beaten and whipped and shit. So now they getting rid of that picture, which is
yes.
that's right. That's right. Damn you, bastard ass Negroes.
Yeah, an enslaved man who escaped freedom. This image widely circulated during the Civil War.
Yeah, that's the one. That's
Was
one. That's the one Will Smith made the movie about. He was that man. Remember? Remember the movie we
yes,
watched? We watched.
yes,
Yeah, that's him. So now they
yeah.
get rid of the man's picture. That's it. It's crazy.
hmm They are saying that this image was circulated widely during the Civil War, was instrumental in galvanizing anti-slavery sentiment. The Nation Park Service has removed this photograph from exhibits, interpreting the executive order's guidance and
Wow.
presenting a
See?
more positive
Because
portrayal.
that's history. So real history is not perceived because white people have got to be made fake history. We're not the we're the greatest, we're the best, and all this stuff. They don't want you to know what they've done. The wicked, everything about their history, guys, is always wicked. It's always evil. Everything
Mhm.
about their history is evil, and that's just a fact.
And also adding additional exhibits as Harper's Ferry National Historical Park and the President's House site in Philadelphia, where George Washington enslaved people, have been flagged for removal. And this action have drawn criticism from historians and advocacy groups who argue that such measures mount the political censorship and erosion, of public education. Former Park
Exactly.
Service officials expressed concern that this approach fundamentally alerts the narrative of America
And that's
history.
and and that's how you get white that Kenya girl. White people are so good. They're so good and great. They're so good. They're so good. Even though they were in Kenya cutting off men's ball sacks and putting them in their mouth. They're so good. They don't want none of this history taught because they're not so good.
This is crazy. Why people are just super, super crazy. But let me go to the comments right here on Black on Fire. We see what people are saying. Shout out to the Welfare King, Karibu Sana. Shout out to Byron Scott, Jiba Jaba, Jason. Shout out to KW Don, and to everyone who's tuned in. Kindly hit that like button as you tune in. If it is your first time, welcome, and subscribe to this amazing media, which provides nothing but the truth. Welfare King says, I was dummy down. I was dumbed down. I think that's what you mean. Uh, last for the last 4 years, teaching your older racist Caucasian. Okay, I was dummied down last 4 years teaching by older racist Caucasian men, women pick their ass and blowing their nose in the class. I didn't get that comment. Grammar, tafadhali, get the grammar. Byron Scott Caribou once again. Welfare King also says, one time I used proper grammar in military. One time I used proper grammar, a grammar in military out in public around Caucasian. Okay, I also didn't understand. Grammar, grammar.
Grammar.
Hmm. Is it your phone or is it you? I don't know which is
Oh,
which.
that
But
was my phone that time.
I also see KW says crotch grab announced $500 million in funding for HBCUs after cutting $350 million from Hispanic for education grants. What is HBCUS? Kindly put that
I did that.
in.
HBCU, historically black colleges and universities. So,
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Jiba Jab also says, I'm going to be pissed all day out here working. I'll be pissed. Yeah. Someone also says picnic means eat fox. Yeah,
yeah,
pick a
pick
next
a
kids.
pick a nigga to eat them. That's right.
Yeah. Jiba Jab also says, so they are gonna cover up the milk monument. This is just super crazy. This country is racist, you know. This is such a racist country.
The
Like
country. I mean, the whole world is in this country's grip, Joby. Whole
I
world is
know.
racist.
That's the worst part. And this is why you see it has been termed as the worst and one of the least peaceful places on earth, literally.
How about
This,
that?
it carries all the
And and
garbage.
and everybody still wants to come.
No, not me. I wonder why
You know the history. I'm talking about everybody else.
Nigerians are crying. You saw earlier I was sharing Nigerians are
That's
crying.
right. That's right.
I'm good. I love my peace here in Kenya. It's so nice. At least let me
if,
argue. Let me just
jo-
let me
if Joby went outside right now and talked to 10 Kenyans, said, "Hey, I got a trip to America and you can stay," all 10 would say, "Hell yeah."
Yep. Yes, that is for sure. They'll be rooting for me. Like, yep, I've made it. I've completely made it. That is always the term. If you tell people you're going to America or even Dubai or Saudi Arabia, you're going to wash people or eat shit, you've made it. They
Right.
don't.
You're right. Because the Africans have not built the country. They have not decided, you know what? We got to build. We got to build. We can't be always crying and whining. We got to build it.
Mhm. But yeah, they're saying that the United States has officially fallen into the ranks of the world's least peaceful countries, according to the latest Global Peace Index.
Of
Of course, the
course.
same people who also control the peace index. Come on, where is Israel? Who's
Exactly.
been mentioned in this? I mean,
Exactly.
we should have that is the first country to be. Then we should follow. Then America. Then the rest should be mentioned. But yeah, fewer people are coming to the U.S. from abroad. Fewer people are coming to the US from abroad. A Congressional Research Service report shows international arrivals fell 2.4% from last year, partly due to Trump's era tariffs that sparked a Canadian travel boycott and left some states pleading for tourists. At the same time, the US is slipping in global safety rankings. The Global Peace Index, which measures crime, conflict, and military spending in 160 plus countries, ranks the US near the bottom, officially placing it among the least peaceful nations in 2025. Back in 2012, the US was ranked 88th out of 153 countries, and today it's 128th out of 163, despite a slight improvement from last year's low point. The drop is tied to violent demonstrations, political unrest, weapons imports, nuclear capacity, and arms exports, all areas where the US scores poorly. And this puts the US far behind allies Iceland, Canada, and the UK, and uncomfortably close to low performance such as North Korea, Ukraine, and Russia. So yeah, that is what is happening. Literally, of course, it has to be should be the second. For me, if you ask me, Israel should be the first one to be mentioned there because both of them, they're best friends. You know, this is what we call chanda na pete in Swahili, best friends. They work together, they sleep together, you know. So shout out to America, you know, shout out to Americans. You know, those who are proud to be Americans. But let me share this video literally here before we shift to Charlie Kirk to understand also one of the reasons why this country is ranked in that particular state. White supremacy, of course, is one of the biggest problem. We know that. Let me see, where's that video? Just a minute. Okay, here it's
telling not rich white people that their enemies are black.
okay.
And the whole history of America is the history of rich white men telling not rich white people that their enemies are black and brown. It starts in the colonies of what would become the United States. Let's remember, during the colonial period, mid-1600s, there was no such thing as white people. I know some people who are now called white find that shocking, right? Because they think whiteness is real, right? But whiteness was created. Europeans didn't call themselves white. We didn't call ourselves white. We weren't all members of one big happy family. Are you kidding? Have you studied the history of Europe? The history of Europe was about killing each other.
Kill each other. They were tribes, exactly.
We just killed each other.
But they understood though that tribalism didn't work, so they created one thing of whiteness. Exactly. They were all tribes at that time. Go ahead, Joe.
Before we figured out there were other people to kill, we just killed each other, right? I mean, that was the history of Europe. The English hated the Irish, right? Northern Italians didn't even think that Southern Italians were Italians.
Well,
the Germans hated everybody, and everybody hated their ass right back, right? There was no team called white, no race called white, but all of a sudden, in the middle of the 1600s, there was. Why? Why was it suddenly necessary?
Because they found all these black people.
Thing called the white race. Well, because
they found all these black people. That's right. Oh man, we can unify under this thing. Forget this tribal shit. We create something called the white race. Well, God damn it, now we can unify everybody under white. So you're no longer Celts. You're no longer an Anglo-Saxon. You're no longer a Goth. You're no longer all these different group of European tribes. So you're no longer none of that. Fuck none of that shit. That shit don't work. So now y'all white people. Oh hell yeah! And you got these black people who seem to be kind of weak and nice and stupid. So we're gonna dominate these dumb niggas. We're all gonna be white now. Okay, shit, fuck it, cool. We're all white. That's what's up.
Rich people can count. That's why. And so rich folks looked around, the ones that owned all the land, you know, in the colonies, the colonial elite looked around and they realized something, that they were heavily outnumbered by African enslaved folks, by European indentured servants who were just one level above a slave, or other Europeans who weren't technically indentured servants, but they were still peasants, didn't have any money, didn't have any land, and they could do the math. They added it up. And the whole history of America is...
Yeah, so literally, the whole history of America is of rich white men telling not rich white
poor
men.
Black people. Exactly. Poor white people. Hey, you might not be rich, but at least you're not a nigga. That's right.
It's super crazy. Racism, it's all based on race too. That is something he forgets to mention.
That's what he's saying. It's based on race. I told you, it became white, based on race. That's how South Africa is based on race. Kenya is based on race. It's all based on race. Their whole systems are all based on their wicked racism. So.
Exactly. But we also have Jiba Jabba saying, shout out to Big Cheese in the building, says, come on, y'all really going to say that 85% of Black Americans are morons? That's mathematically impossible. Well, I read the article.
I don't see how this that's mathematically impossible. It might be an exaggeration, Big Cheese. Yeah, maybe. But you've been out there talking to these people. My good grief.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, as we move on, we also have, before I get into Omar Johnson and what he had to say about Black people celebrating.
Yeah, and Charlie Kirk, that's how you know he's a phony. And shout out and look here. Airtime's gonna try to get Dr. Umar's coming to Kenya. So they're gonna try to get him in the studio, but I'm not paying no money to get this ne'er-do-well Negro in there. He wants money, so we'll see if Airtime can get Dr. Umar in there with Joby and them around.
I'm sure she can. I'm sure she. Iwaton is that girl, you know.
That's right.
I don't know. I don't want to use that, but yeah, Iwaton makes friends very easily. It's not me. For me, I can't. I don't know how to be like that with people. But anyway, we have more than 8 million people in New York who are set to get an inflation refund check. So if you are in New York, maybe this is for you. Maybe if you're Black, understand this is maybe not for you too. But anyway, they're saying that more than 8 million people, more than 8 million New Yorkers are set to receive relief checks this fall as part of the state's new inflation refund program, and the payments, which will begin going out at the end of September, are designed to offset the impact of rising costs of households across the state. The quality residents must have filed a full year New York State income tax return for 2023 and fall within specific income limits. The refund amounts vary from by filing status and income. Single filers earning up to $75,000 and can expect $200, while married couples and surviving spouses making up $150,000 and may receive $400, and those with higher incomes within the eligibility range will receive smaller checks. So the program included in the latest state budget, will deliver payments automatically. No application is required. Officials say that the rollout will continue throughout October as checks mailed in phases. So if you're in New York, this is probably for you. If you're going to benefit, I don't know. But I want to see what people had to say in the comments, because for me, I understand a lot nowadays, especially from the comments. You will not lack one truth, 2, 3 truth bearers. Yeah, someone says just enough to get the gas in New York. Okay. Someone says, I'll take it, I'll pay for this helicopter ride. I'm trying to book on a vacay. And someone says, great, because $65 for 4 items at the grocery store is not the move. All right. And yeah, that is what is happening. So if you're in New York, maybe you can benefit from this, or tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend who can benefit, because we've seen the prices of houses have been super expensive. Like the prices of houses lately, we've been discussing that, and groceries and a lot. Electricity is expected to skyrocket even more. But we have Dr. Omar Johnson. I don't know what he's coming to do in Kenya. I'm yet to know that. And I've not seen these reports anywhere. But yeah, he says that he's ashamed to see the Black
Remember that lady? Remember that lady that came to the studio? That
yeah.
that lady from Tennessee? She's the one bringing her to one of her events.
Oh yeah. Shout out to her. Shout out to her. Shout out to her. To make connections sometimes. Okay, I don't want to talk bad, but anyway, yeah. Shout out to her. To make connections, you gotta be who you are. But yeah, he said that while I did not agree with Mr. Kirk's rhetoric and considered him to be an anti-Black bigot, I will never rejoice at the loss of a life of anyone who hasn't directly participated in the unaliving of a member of the Black African race. And I am ashamed to see that members of the community celebrating this situation. I will never ask you to mourn the loss of an enemy of our race, but to celebrate an unaliving is completely unacceptable. We know all too well, we all know too well that the greatest receipts of political assassination in this country have been for our own people. Stop laughing at the misfortunes of others and get prepared. Political assassinations have returned to the United States of America, courtesy of the deep state. So that is Johnson, Dr. Omar. Yeah. And what he had to say literally about the situation of Charlie Kirk. But we also have other Black people who had something to say, like Candice Owens as well. Candice Owens says, this is because he was working for the big bags, the big bags, the cats with the small hats. So they're the ones who took him out. And that's literally what she had to say. But we also have this video
about the reaction to Charlie Kirk's death, his killing, his murder. How do you feel about that?
I feel like the country is doing entirely too much to honor him. We were talking earlier when we were at brunch that the flags are at half-staff, and we didn't understand why, considering that he wasn't a political figure, not an elected official. So we just really didn't understand that.
agree. I think the country is doing too much. I think it is an effort to divide, to make it more political, to draw sides rather than what he actually brought to the table, and what he stood for.
Do you think his rhetoric was harmful or hateful or?
Was speaking division, a lot of the MAGA language, right, and causing division within our country.
I believe.
Then we have this one.
Don't come up on here trying to put black people in this shit. What happened to Charlie happened in white Utah with all white people. Why are you talking about black people? Don't talk about no motherfucking black woman when Charlie Kirk was gunned down in white ass Utah. Don't come up on here with that shit. Don't come up on here with that shit. Talk about a white person. Do not bring black women in this shit. Black women ain't never been nobody's motherfucking ass shooter. We ain't never had nothing to do with that shit. Don't have no motherfucking black woman's name out your mouth over no Charlie Kirk. Now what? Move on. I'm telling you about these motherfuckers. They're glitching out because it wasn't a black person in sight. And now they got to bring us in it. HBCUs getting threats. For what? Why are you talking about Michelle Obama? Michelle Obama said, let's go low, we go high. How the fuck?
Yeah, so many black people actually have lost their jobs. Most have been arrested for just saying any bad word about Charlie Kirk. There was a journalist who was fired for just writing an article about Charlie Kirk. There's a black woman was yesterday arrested because of just saying F Charlie Kirk. So many people have lost their job. Even another white journalist, let me see if I can find it. There's another white reporter too who was fired because of the same just talking the truth about who he was as a racist person. But right now with what is happening with this young black guy, it's not, no one is talking about it. We're not seeing them going crazy about it. We didn't see them go crazy about George Floyd. We didn't see them go crazy about so many black people who have been shot, killed, Recently, we just shared the video of the young guy whose body cam video was released about him being harassed by the police. And these police officers are right now free. They're free. That nothing happened to them. I just saw Benjamin Crump telling them that they're going to receive money, as always what he does. No one is talking about that. So why are black people being blamed for just expressing what they feel about what is happening?
Fuck is Michelle Obama in it? Why is Maxine Waters is 80-something years old? Why are they in it?
Crazy.
Go talk about what Donald fucking Trump. We just talked about Jesse Waters. Don't come up on here on this black ass radio station talking about fucking political violence and black women, because they ain't never been no case. Never.
Yeah, so that is what is happening. White people are just crazy. I don't know how else to just describe white people. White people are sane. White people are sane. They want people who are talking like this. Let me share the video of this guy here. They want people who are talking like this, who are bootlickers, who are gonna say, second their words about racism. That is what they want. And then you go back to what I just read, why they're dumbing down most of the population to not have critical thinking. This is one of the reasons too.
Billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get to this point?
Right. I would say this. We're not voting for the right people. In North Carolina, wake up.
Billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either.
Yeah, so they want, and someone says, the first comment is the black guy thinks he's giving a hot take. Homeless people with mental health issues either accept help or you lock them up. The white guy just killed them. The black guy, that was his reaction. But at the end of the day, you're sitting at this table where you know what's up. You know what's up. And again, still more of the same mentality and reasoning.
Anybody
especially black people, that are saying Charlie Kirk was racist and was not for black people and did not know black people. I am 100% convinced that you have never sat through a full debate of his or watched any of his debates with a sound understanding. Black people are always so quick to want to be the victim of a situation that they can't thrive. And this is one of the things that Charlie Kirk was exposing to black people. We have such a cap on us because we think we're limited, because
Time for some bubble gum.
women, and
Bubble
because
gum time.
our
Bubble gum
ancestors,
time.
whatever they went through is still impacting us today, but we are not there anymore. Charlie Kirk wasn't saying that we didn't need or black problems didn't matter. He was saying, hey, you're not a slave anymore, and there are no more laws that are holding you back, saying that you can't do what a white person can do. You should get up and go and try these methods and become somebody. One thing we got to understand is life is hard. And we don't need handouts. Handouts is making people weak and sensitive. That's why this man was just killed over mere opinions, having an opinion. This man never said nothing racist or hated or hateful towards black people.
He has. There's so many videos of him. He has. So many videos on this TikTok of him talking shit about black people. Come on.
Followed this man very closely and watched many of his debates, and I stand in agreement with a lot of the things that he say. And I
Hey,
really,
you want about the educational level so bad in America now? You talking about Joby said you should just have critical thinking skills. How? The lady don't got no critical thinking skills. You talking about the education level. People can't read, people can't write, people can't do math. That's supposed to be normal. You shouldn't be graduating no high school if you can't read and write. Good.
I didn't know who Charlie Kirk was until his assassination. Okay. And all I had to do is just go to different platforms, do my research, and I bumped into various videos like what I shared, the other time during the show, and many more. When he's addressing black people, it was very disrespectful. Talking about addressing black Americans' history is very disrespectful. I didn't have to go grow all my life in America to just understand who Charlie Kirk is. Hell no. Again, critical thinking. I'll still apply that. What does it have to say? You are a nigger so that you can, understand that is racist? Does it have to be on your face for you to understand racism in the simplest terms? It's crazy.
Smile. I can't even think about nothing I disagree with. And I just hate that we are people who are so quick to be controlled by the word racism.
You're the controlled one because you don't have a clue of even what racism is, I guess. I don't think you understand the term, how it applies. That is just for me.
She's a first class coon. Do this for me, Joby. See what she's saying is actually stupid. This is a moron. That's why she got to be. I told you, you be Black American, Kenyan, South African. We got them everywhere. So once you put in Angola prison still has slave labor because they built the prison right on top of the old plantation. It's full of black men doing the slave labor. She's talking crazy. The most of the crimes they didn't commit or minor crimes.
Angola, you said Angola, right?
Angola prison slave labor.
Just a minute.
And that part of Louisiana was called Angola because they know we can't Angola, you morons.
Okay, let me try read this article. See if it's adding up. But it says okay. There's a whole. See this. They're talking about this Black History Month, People's Dispatch in exploring the history of notorious Louisiana State penitentiary. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but the site of centuries of Black struggle and the fight against slavery, then convict leasing, and now the U.S. prison system, which some label as slavery in the modern day. The helm of the U.S. notorious system of mass incarceration sits Louisiana State Penitentiary. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that. Penitentiary. I don't know. Apart from being the largest maximum security prison in the United States, and this prison is nicknamed Angola after the former plantation site that it sits on. It's an example of the condition of modern day slavery that the U.S. prison system inflicts upon its disproportionately black incarcerated population. The Angola plantation, which is before the Civil War and the abolition of slavery, the land the prison currently sits on was known as the Angola plantation, owned by slave trader Isaac Franklin. The name Angola comes from the Southern African nation, which another one of Franklin's plantation being named Loango, after the pre-colonial African kingdom. Angola became one of the most productive plantations in the U.S. South, churning out 3,100 bales of cotton per year via the labor of its slave. Crazy. That is something you have learned today. Following the Civil War in 1880, the plantation was sold to Samuel Lawrence, a former Confederate Army major who took advantage of the return of slavery-like conditions through the emergence of the convict leasing system. And through convict leasing, private corporations concluded with the criminal justice system to entrap, convict, and lease mostly Black people as incarcerated laborers. And this practice became highly lucrative throughout the former slave states of the U.S. South, with the state of Alabama generating 73% of its annual state revenue from convict leasing in 1898. Yeah, so this is super crazy. So yeah, racism has been there. So I don't know. I don't know what she needs to understand what the term literally racism does mean to her. But let's listen to how she had to say it still.
That just one little clip misrepresenting what somebody said is all we need to throw somebody under the bus. We got to think about this. Who are the kind of people, and not to this was a white on white crime.
Then,
and whenever these type of people get involved, that means there is some power being seeped out somewhere to the masses that the people in control don't want the power to be with. And this is what he was doing. He was showing a lot of people that are blind and programmed by the system to wake up.
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population. Yes, about half of all prisoners are Black. Exactly. So Blacks commit more crimes than whites do.
You hear? That is racism. Like, that is still, for me, that is racism. I don't care.
They commit more murders. They commit more arsons. They commit more kidnappings. For example, Black...
Kidnappings? Kidnappings? Are you kidding me? Kidnappings? Where? Oh, okay, maybe with our puppets here and there, but kidnappings? Excuse me?
Blacks are 13% of the population, and they commit 58% of all the murders.
Okay.
Wow.
Let's talk about it. These are obviously racist claims, but I will respond to them as if Charlie Kirk were a reasonable person.
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population. Yes, about half of all prisoners are Black.
Wrong. Just 38% of America's prison population is Black. That's according to the U.S. government. But it makes you wonder why Charlie feels the need to add an additional 12% to the Black prison population. Could it be because his bigoted talking points only work if he exaggerates? If Charlie were actually looking...
Of course, that is them as a race, I guess, at this point. If you understand, most of them, they fill their ego by just adding lies, like Trump, and so many of them, they feed and boost their ego by just adding lies when it comes to Black people.
For the race that makes up half the prison population in the U.S., he'd look no further than white people at 57%.
Exactly. So Blacks commit more crimes than whites do.
Wrong. The word "so" is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that.
Exactly. So meaning literally you're emphasizing something that you are trying to create lies of. So what do you mean? He's literally boosting his ego to seem like he's making a valid point by exaggerating lies.
Sentence.
So blacks commit more crime.
He's saying so, as in therefore, as in one could conclude. But Charlie knows he's lying. Even if he hadn't just lied about the black prison population, Charlie is smart enough to know that correlation does not equal causation. But he's hoping that you don't know that. So he deploys the word so to make you think he's coming to an obvious conclusion.
So blacks.
Instead, he's making an illogical, racist leap. Charlie knows that we don't have usable data about who commits crimes. It's impossible to have that data since so many crimes go both unreported and or unsolved.
It's white people. Actually, at this point, we should say it's white people who commit more crime. How many white people shoot and go scot-free? Isn't that a crime when you don't bring justice to the victims or the family of the victim? Like, and you play victim? Let's even talk about that, where they play victim in every situation. Like, it's, for me, it's white people who are committing more crimes. It's just that, like you said, it's unreported. It's unreported and unsolved, and it's
exactly. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm. And it's because they're white people. They know the white supremacy, how it favors them. It's been long favoring them, so they know they're gonna escape with anything. So no black people.
Charlie knows that we only have data about arrests and convictions. I'll come back to that data in a moment. What's painfully obvious is that Charlie Kirk isn't interested in understanding the statistics he so carelessly misquotes. He's interested in making bad faith arguments, something that becomes even more obvious in his next point.
Blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders.
Wrong again. And
hell no. How many black people are killed, let me just say, in a week? And goes unreported again. Let me just talk about, because we talked about the 3 black people who were killed, and this was nowhere in the news. We're talking about the same time Charlie Kirk was shot. 3 black people were unalived by some white people, and nowhere, this didn't make it in the news. So who are the top murderers right here?
Loud this time. If Charlie were interested in honesty, he would have mentioned the other 1350 statistic. Yes, black people are about 13% of the population, but make up 53% of all criminal exonerations.
Exactly.
In fact, black people make up 55% of all murder exonerations. Specifically, black people are more likely than any other group in this country to be convicted of crimes they did not commit. And then people like you have the nerve to parade these stats around as though they prove something. The reality is that you probably know these stats, but you leave them out on purpose, because to bring that stat into this conversation would make some people think. And that's the last thing a person like you wants.
Of course, they don't want people who can critically think. They want you to keep on listening to those kind of things they're telling you. You believe what we say, okay? All black people are murderers, all right? 58% of this population are the ones who are doing these crimes, all right? We're telling you, that is the data. What data? Leave alone the data. Can you talk about the realistic facts or the reality of what we see every day? Leave alone your data, the piece of papers you keep on writing, telling us bullshit. Can you talk about the reality of what we are seeing with our very bare own eyes? Like, please, it's crazy.
Man, I was waiting for this one. This man here.
No.
This man is standing in his pulpit, supposed to be a man of God. He should have been reading his Bible. If he had any spiritual discernment, he would know he need to go listen to what Charlie Kirk said so he can have a fair assessment before he say what he about to say right now. Have you listened to Charlie Kirk's stuff before you get out here and say something about this man, the man of God?
If you stopped listening to Jesus more and tried to understand maybe where he comes from as a black person, not as a pastor, you will have that is critical thinking applying. But because you're a black person who's looking for clout, let me just say that.
No, Joby. The pastor was right. The guy you're doing it. The guy he's talking is a COON, Joby.
Yeah. I'm saying the pastor is very right. That's what I'm telling him. If he stopped praying to Jesus more and blaming this on religion, trying to point the pastor more than who he is, because leave alone the religion. This is a black man. He's talking from a black person's perspective. You know, just like the rest of the black people have a point or want to say something, but you are a black coon who doesn't want to address the real story, the real facts. So you're trying to gain your numbers by Jesus doesn't want us to judge. You know, Jesus is the one to judge. Who are you to judge?
Have you listened to his stuff? Or are you watching clips pop up of people who hate him? Man of God allegedly get behind the pulpit in this congregation with
the bullshit with black people. The man, you're a man of God. You shouldn't be doing this. You're a what? Excuse me.
no wisdom, and say this. Roll it.
And I do not celebrate the killing of anyone. Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be assassinated. But I'm overwhelmed seeing the flags of the United States of America at half-staff calling this nation to honor and venerate a man who was an unapologetic racist and spent all of his life sowing seeds of division and hate into this land. And hearing people with selective rage who were mad about Charlie Kirk but didn't give a damn about Melissa Hortman and her husband when they were shot down in their home, tell me I ought to have compassion for the death of a man who had no respect for my own life. I am sorry, but there's nowhere in Bible where we are taught to honor evil.
Exactly.
And how you die does not redeem how you lived.
Look at these sorry man. All right,
You do
all right. Let him play. Finish it.
not become a hero in your death when you are a weapon of the enemy in your life.
I'm finna eat. Let him finish.
I can abhor the violence that took your life, but I don't have to celebrate how you chose to live.
Now you know you ain't got no connection to God.
Well, number one, what the hell is finna eat? What is finna? Can you just, what is, I don't understand with all, okay, the slang, but what is finna? That is the type of grammar we're talking about, the education system. What is finna? I mean, I understand, but can you just say I'm going to, I'm gonna? That at least makes sense. I'm finna. What is I'm finna? The hell? But anyway, yeah.
If you talking like this fool. He said, think about this. He said, how do you have this feeling for Charlie Kirk, but you don't have this feeling for these two people that died? I guess they were politicians. Because they weren't people of God like Charlie was. Why do you think all these people crying?
Finna means about you, Joey. That's a black American slave. Finna is not no it means about you. He said he's about to eat somebody. He's gonna be a coon like he's tearing somebody up because he's a moron. He's a bootlicker. You about to tear nobody up, bootlicker.
I get it, but please just talk good English. For me, trust me that this kind of things are gonna throw me off. You trying to come talk to me like I'm finna. What is your finna? Can you talk? Do you talk well? Can you talk well? What is your finna? Please, I understand, but I don't. It's just not cool.
Think all these people putting the flag at half mast? Why do you think all these people are celebrating? Why do you think all these people are at their churches? They're doing their memorial services, flowers pouring out, buying merch, supporting Charlie. Why do you think people are doing it?
Time for bubble gum. Time for some bubble gum. I told you, you got me in Kenya, you got them in South Africa, you got them in America, you got them in Jamaica. We got them everywhere. It's time for a bubblegum party. Exactly. Lots of bubblegum. Lots of bubblegum for this big fat bastard. Lots of it.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think he got a million more people follow him on social media?
Because they're morons. You know, they again, like I said, majority of his followers are the same racist
of
white
course.
class.
Exactly. That's why. And he's hustling, right? He's getting money from. He's ear hustling. And the other ones are saying they don't even want this moron no more. Nick Fuentes has come out and said, we don't even want none of you bootlicking buck dancing coons no more. We know you're all trying to get white dollars while you keep talking that way. You can't. They said they don't even want this moron no more, Joe. They also say we don't even want your ass no more.
Yes, it should. That is what they should have done a long time ago. I don't know what they were waiting for, but yeah. You go figure out your life. The people who are following Charlie Kirk, and like I said from the first video I was sharing, these are people who are feeding their ego with, they have to feed their ego with lies, by being racist, of course, because they understand also the system how it is set up, and no matter what I'm gonna talk, I'm white. You're not gonna take me anywhere, and that is what feeds them. They feed on that ego, and it's crazy. But as we move on to the next conversation, apart from Charlie Kirk, because he should be addressing what is happening currently. This is 15 hours ago. He should be talking about what happened yesterday to that 16-year-old boy, but he's not talking about it. He's busy talking about a pastor who's addressing facts, and not understanding he's black first and not a coon fact.
He's not going to talk about what happened to the kid getting hung. He's not going to talk about that. There's no money in that because he's a coon. She's a coon. They don't ever mention about their own people getting hung and murdered because that's how they're deranged in the head. So that's what. So that's why we got to get a lot of bubble gum.
That is so true. But on the next story of the young boy who was found hanging from a tree in Delta State University, that was around 9 a.m. yesterday, where Trey Reed, a black student, was found hanging from a tree near a black student was found hanging from a tree near the Court of Governors Domes and Pickleball Courts of Delta State University in Mississippi. His body was discovered by staff, while authorities suspect it may have been self-inflicted. This has not yet been confirmed, and in response, the university canceled all classes and centennial events, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, assured that the community that the campus is safe and made counseling service available as the investigations continue. So to go back to this video on what is happening.
Found on campus early this morning. Staff members discovered the individual and immediately notified campus police and local authorities, who are now investigating. In a response, the school canceled all classes and centennial events scheduled for the day. In a statement, Delta State shared condolences to the family and friends impacted, saying the community is deeply saddened by the loss. Newscast with breaking news.
Someone with a brain, please explain to me why they're not talking about the 21-year-old black student that was just found.
Now remember, Joe. Every time they found them, every time this happens, it's always they self-inflicted themselves. Every time. Remember, you did about 20 stories of these the last 3 years. It's always self-infliction, and no one's ever charged. And we know nobody just hung themselves, Joe.
Mm-hmm. Jibba Jabba, don't you dare me with the pronunciation thing. Jibba Jabba is telling me pronunciation. You guys check your grammar. I'm good with the pronunciation. At least I defend myself, I say I can't read that, but yeah, you guys don't tell me I can't write that. So
Monday morning, a student found an African-American 21-year-old hanging from a tree at Delta State University. DSU has canceled classes and all campus activity after the discovery of the student's body was found near the center of campus. Authorities said the 21-year-old Trey Reed of Grenadad was found hanging from a tree near the university's pickleball court. Fellow African-American students are requesting to know what happened. Because I am a black student, hearing that happened to another black student, it makes me feel unsafe. Another student was quoted saying, "I have to walk to class and I have to walk down the track. It would be nice to know what actually happened." Student's family is begging for transparency. Please do your own research on this. Do not let them sweep anything under the rug. Enough is enough. But no.
A 21-year-old student was found hanging from a tree
in Cleveland, Mississippi. It's at a university called Delta State University in Cleveland. They found him early in the morning, about 7 o'clock, hanging from a tree. They're saying at this point there's no foul play, but folks are calling for investigations. And I think they need to get to the bottom. This guy's name is DeMar Travion Trey Reed. He's from Grenada, Mississippi. Everyone they spoke to said he was a great guy, lit up a room. And so why was he hanging from a tree? What happened? That's what we need to know.
Forget all the Charlie Kirk situation right now. Let's go down to Mississippi. The name Trayvon Reed needs to ring all over the United States right now. 1, that is my cousin. 2, this is the second incident that has occurred within the last 5 years at this campus. Delta State University has had a run-in with me and their policemen. They tried to lock me up for no reason, and it didn't succeed in their favor. I went on a 9-month probation, and that's it. This year, just today, it was reported that my cousin was found hanging from a tree, and they trying to rule it as a suicide. Now, I just got off the phone with one of my cousins. She said she seen the reports, and it said that he was beaten and bruised. Both his arms were broken, and he had a broken leg. I'm gonna let y'all do the math. Now, this school has history for being racist. Even going all the way back to the 1980 situation that happened with the sit-in. I love to refer to that situation because that was one of the significant situations that happened with one of the Black revolts that happened at this school. But still, I'm trying to be composed in this video, and I'm trying to keep it all together. But it's a lot of shit that happens on that campus that don't nobody do shit about. It was incidents before my incidents. My big incident happened and that I reported that nobody did nothing about. Somebody tried to report me for a hate crime, and they was the one being homophobic, transphobic, and being racist. And they was trying to lock me up until I had multiple people come out and speak against him. There was an incident that I reported that it was a group of white students in a white truck while I was a freshman. They yelled at me and my friends and called us a bunch of monkeys. Please do a deep dive on this. Please.
He wanted to draw that trans shit, and it had nothing to do with that and that homosexual shit. They called you a monkey, moron. They know because you know trans. See, they always want to mix us up with this bullshit. It has nothing to do with this. They called you something because of who you are, not because of what kind of dicks you're sucking, taking in the ass.
No, he said the white race, the group of white people are the ones who called him homophobic and all that. They were the ones literally throwing the hate, whatever, on him. Unless I'm the one who had understood it wrong.
Do not let them sweep nothing else under the rug. Enough is enough. It is 2025, and bullshit after bullshit after bullshit is still getting fed to us. Enough is enough.
Earlier today, Delta State staff discovered a deceased individual on campus. University police and local authorities were immediately notified and are conducting an active investigation.
During a Monday afternoon press conference on the campus of Delta State University, it was announced the body of 21-year-old DeMar Travion Trey Reed of Grenada, a freshman at DSU, was found hanging from a tree near the pickleball courts not far from the campus cafeteria.
I've spoken to Trey's family and expressed our heartbreak.
The discovery was made just after 7 a.m. Classes, as well as several events associated with the university's centennial, were canceled.
At this time, there's no evidence of foul play.
A joint investigation is being conducted by DSU Police, the Cleveland PD, Bolivar County Sheriff's Department, and the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. University officials stress their belief the Delta State campus is one of the safest in Mississippi.
There is no evidence of a...
It's not. You just heard from the other guy saying that this...
Remember, that's the same era where they got Emmett Till back in the 50s. That's the same era they got Emmett Till, the baby. Remember that? So they would say, no, it's not. We know ain't nobody black 20 years old hanging themselves in no fucking tree.
Of course.
How did he get up there with the rope? How did he tie it around his neck and then jump off the tree by himself? Huh? Because whenever we die, we always now we're super niggas.
That's a good one.
Threat to campus, and there's no evidence that the campus is unsafe at this point. So I expect we resume normal operations as soon as possible.
Monday, I spoke with Trey Reed's mother. She did not want to go on camera, but told me she has so many questions about what happened. She said she just talked to her son Friday that he was excited about attending Delta State University as a freshman. She can't find any
Exactly. So she
reason.
know that's why she's not showing her photo. She know where she lives at. That's why she's not in there. You got these other coons. Oh, racism don't exist no more. Shut the fuck up. Time for some bubble gum for your ass.
But of course, we know this is like you've heard. This has been the history of America. This has been happening long since back then. And has justice anyone ever been found guilty about all these cases? Like you hear they're saying it's self-inflicted, but how talk about the broken arms and legs? He just
Joby, do me a favor.
out.
Go to TikTok and play this. We know it's been done so much today. He made a famous song about it. Say Billie Holiday's "Blood on the Vine." And I think this part what really got her killed. Say Billie Holiday's "Blood on." Is it blood on the root? No, say my part. Blood on the root. Explaining this very same thing, Joby. Explaining the history in art. See, that's when your art means something. See, when you're doing mumble rap and talking stupid, your art don't mean shit. It's garbage.
Blood on there.
Blood on the root. And Billy said Billie Holiday, Billie Holiday. Blood on the root.
Trees bear strange fruit, blood on the leaves.
She's saying, pause that. So what she's saying, Joby? Oh, Joby found a live version. Okay, cool. When she's still alive, before they killed her. She's saying the South bears strange fruit, Joby, of black men and black women being hung. So in the South, it's blood on the root. So black people are swinging in the air in the summer breeze like fruit. So go ahead.
Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Pastoral scene of the gallant South.
Yeah, so this is crazy. They even made a song about it. RIP to her. But yes, also have this other video here explaining the same history, how it's been long happening since the Jim Crow time and all the way literally to the history you guys just shared today with about the literally, which is actually connected to the pumpkin whole thing. The how did Kid call it? I forgot the name. But yeah, the whole pumpkin, Halloween pumpkin thing. It's literally historically connected. So this has been happening, but where's justice?
In 1865, the chains of slavery were broken, and for a brief moment, freedom seemed within reach. Families who had endured generations of forced labor dared to hope for a new beginning. Yet, as the dust of the Civil War settled, another system quietly took its place, one that did not rely on whips and auction blocks, but on laws, signs, and silent rules that dictated every movement of life. This system came to be known as Jim Crow, and it was built to remind an entire people that their freedom was conditional, fragile, and constantly under threat. Imagine walking into a train station only to see two waiting rooms, one labeled white and another colored. Imagine knowing that your children's schoolbooks would always be old, worn, and missing pages, while schools across town shined with new desks and polished floors.
Crazy.
The rules of Jim Crow seeped into every corner of society, creating a world where the promise of equality was replaced by the reality of separation and humiliation. But the cruelty of this system wasn't just about dividing spaces. It was about controlling dignity, silencing voices, and limiting dreams. The right to vote, once celebrated as a pathway to change, was taken away through clever tricks like literacy tests and poll taxes.
Literacy test. I just talked about literacy.
Methods designed to make participation impossible. Courtrooms, where justice should stand tall, became arenas where fairness was denied, and verdicts were already decided before a word was spoken. Even worse, the shadow of violence loomed everywhere. Communities that dared to prosper often faced destruction, and those who resisted the invisible lines of segregation risked brutal consequences. It was a time when progress felt dangerous, and survival often meant silence. And yet, despite this, people endured. They built churches, schools, and businesses. They created music, art, and traditions that carried hope through the darkest of days. Their resilience was not just a declaration that no law, no matter how oppressive, could extinguish the human spirit.
Now pause it. You hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Now, white supremacists are saying, the ones that they're going back and say, they said we should have never allowed these niggas to ever sing and have hope. That's where we went wrong. Allow them to sing in the fields and have hope. We should have never, and when we get power back again, we're going to crush their hope. And we're not going to also let them entertain. We let them get money by entertaining us. We're not going to allow that either. So I'm telling you what they're trying to set up again here in America, okay? I heard this white woman who said, she's been in those meetings with these people. They said that we were going back with our ancestors where we let these niggas have hope by singing and dancing. That's one thing we're not going to allow this time. So once we get the brown out of here, the Mexicans, we're going to comfort them and we're going to comfort them hard. Because she's saying black people are singing and jiving, talking stupid, don't know what's coming. Oh, they're building a country to lock your ass up in here. This is the white one. I can't get Joey to play because I sent it to her phone. I think her phone's still messed up. So I've been in these spaces in the South. I'm telling you what the billionaires saying. I was there to be a secret. I know you guys, I'm the wrong color. I'm palm color, right? I get it. You don't gotta believe me, but this I'm telling you what they saying. They're saying our ancestors effed up, allowing these Negroes to even have hope, allow you to sing and have hope of getting free. So this time we're gonna stop all that shit, and we're gonna stop all the entertaining too. We're gonna put your ass back on the plantation for real. As we lock down the country, remember America's started becoming impoverished. So they say, well, we're gonna lock you. The other white people gonna go along with it. We're gonna lock you niggas down. And we know Africa's not gonna help because they're all bootlicks. That's what the white lady said. Africans are all bootlicks and love white people. So Africans not gonna help you. This is what this white lady's saying. So, and remember, you guys, most of you morons turned your back on Africa. Africa's bad, you had nothing to do with it. She said that's what they're doing. They're gonna lock this country, they're gonna get rid of the brown, and then put you black people back in the fields. Remember, that's what they want to do. Put you back in the fields, and you ain't gonna have nothing to say about it. Like I had Joby, my phone went. I don't know, Joby, did you play Angola for him? You play Angola prison? My phone went because of the heat.
I read the article.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then to put you privatize the prison, put you in more prisons. No court is gonna be fair. Say they learned their lessons from the ancestors. To make sure you Negroes stay locked down for good. Hope we know getting out. They don't say ain't none of these coons from Africa gonna come help you because they're all cowards. Okay? That's what the white lady said. She was in these and I believe her. She might not believe she hear my southern accent. I've been there with the billionaires. This is what they're saying. Okay? He said Trump is just a puppet. They want to put J.D. Vance is the one they really want in there. They'll get rid of Trump. J.D. Vance is the one that they have created. He's their creation. They're using Trump as a puppet, but J.D. Vance is the one that they created, that they molded. He's going to start implementing all this wicked shit. You guys going to be stupid like you said. Oh, it's not Trump. He's not Trump. It's J.D. Vance. You don't know that's the one they built. Trump is just some buffoon, right? Some failed businessman they put in there as a game show host. He's not the one they built. J.D. Vance is the one that they built from the ground up. So that's what they're saying. When they get rid of Trump, J.D. Vance is going to turn back the clock on this bitch.
It is not only about injustice, it is about the strength of a community that refused to be erased. It is about how laws can shape lives, but courage can shape history.
And they're not going to allow that
Today,
no more.
as we look back on this era, we are reminded that the fight for equality did not end with emancipation, it carried on through decades of struggle and sacrifice. If you believe stories like this must be remembered, and share it with others, never forgotten. The Civil War had ended decades earlier, and the nation claimed to be moving toward equality. On paper, freedom was promised. But in reality, a new system was being built, one that would legally sanction division and deepen the wounds of inequality. The turning point came in 1896 with a case known as Plessy versus Ferguson. The story began in Louisiana, where a man named Homer Plessy challenged the law that forced him to sit in
Pause that, Joey. Pause that. Right. So, and the white lady said, all you coons out like the one Joey showed, said, that's not going to help you. They don't care about you cooning for them, shucking and jiving, don't know. They're going to put you in the same camps because they don't like you. Like she said, they don't like your ass. So you can pretend, you can shuck and jive and go up there and say crazy stuff about your own people. Think that's going to get you a safe space? They said it's not no more. They're like Nick Renters. They don't want none of you coons around them. So they're going to put you in the same pot and get rid of you. Okay? Ain't going to be no Candace Owens and no Officer Tatum's and none of that shit going to be no Jason Whitlock's. Nah, they're not going to tolerate that. They're not going to tolerate that. You're going to have to go too. But go ahead, Joe.
Because of his mixed ancestry.
Bye, Ruto.
He believed, as many did, that freedom meant the ability to sit wherever he wished, to travel without restrictions, to live as a full citizen. His act of defiance was small but symbolic, a simple refusal to accept separation as the law of the land. Yet when the case reached the highest court in the nation, the decision would alter the course of history for generations. The Supreme Court ruled against Plessy, declaring that segregation was legal as long as the facilities provided for both groups were equal. It was a phrase that sounded balanced, almost harmless. But beneath those words lay a devastating reality. This ruling did not merely separate, it sanctioned inequality, cloaking it in the language of fairness. From that moment, the phrase, separate but equal, became the foundation of public life across the South. Yet nothing about it was equal. Schoolhouses for black children were often no more than wooden shacks, with leaking roofs and broken desks. The textbooks were hand-me-downs, their pages worn and outdated, while schools reserved for white children gleamed with fresh supplies and modern classrooms. Hospitals told a similar story: equipment was scarce, conditions unsafe, and the most basic care often denied, while across-town facilities shined with the promise of modern medicine. The inequality stretched far beyond education and healthcare. Public parks, transportation, restaurants, and even libraries were divided. A family might walk through town and see signs at every turn, where they could eat, where they could sit, even which water fountain they could use. Each sign was a reminder that the law itself had declared them second-class citizens. And if anyone dared to question or defy these rules, punishment came swiftly, sometimes through the courts, other times through violence. What made this ruling so insidious was that it gave prejudice the force of legitimacy. Ordinary citizens could point to the law and say, this is how it must be. Teachers, judges, shopkeepers, and policemen all carried out segregation with a sense of righteousness, because the highest court in the land had told them it was just. The impact on everyday life was profound. A child growing up under these laws quickly learned that opportunity was not the same for everyone. Dreams of becoming a doctor, a lawyer, or a teacher were stifled by the lack of resources and access. Travel, something as simple as boarding a bus or buying a train ticket, was loaded with unspoken rules about where one could sit and how one should behave. Even leisure, something as small as a family trip to the movies, became a lesson in exclusion, with balconies reserved for some and plush seats reserved for others. Yet despite the weight of the ruling, people resisted in quiet and powerful ways. Families formed close communities, supporting one another through churches, schools, and local businesses. They built cultural movements in music, literature, and art that transcended the walls segregation tried to build. Jazz flowed from neighborhoods the law tried to diminish, poetry was written in voices the law tried to silence, and resilience became the answer to a system designed to suppress. The injustice of Plessy versus Ferguson lingered for more than half a century. It was not until 1954, in the landmark case of Brown versus Board of Education, that the doctrine of separate but equal was finally struck down. But by then, generations had lived and suffered under the weight of a decision that legalized inequality. The scars it left behind were deep, visible not only in institutions, but in the psyche of a nation still struggling with the meaning of freedom. Looking back, Plessy versus Ferguson was more than a court case, it was a turning point that defined an era. It proved that laws could shape lives, not only by what they allowed but by what they denied. It showed how a single ruling could ripple outward, affecting schools, hospitals, neighborhoods, and families in ways that lasted for decades. And it serves as a reminder that justice delayed can often feel like justice denied. The story of Plessy versus Ferguson is not only about a legal decision, it is about the lived experiences of millions of people who navigated a world built on inequality disguised as fairness. It is a story of endurance, of voices silenced yet never extinguished, and of a nation grappling with the consequences of its own contradictions. And even today, its lessons remain urgent. Equality is not simply declared, it must be lived, protected, and fought for.
Hold on, pause that. Let me explain something. Let me explain something. What's actually happening globally. So when you cultivate people who ain't never had to do shit, no, they stole the world, right? So they've been given all the best positions and the best of everything, right? So they just expect to be given all these giveaways and everything else, right? They just expect it. So understand, when you're just given shit, you never have to work for it. Generationally, you become weak and soft, and you really can't compete with those who had to get it out the dirt, get it out the mud. And so black people and other people have been able to get it out the mud. And so what it do, you're forged by steel. What you've done, you're forged by steel. So as they take away more resources, more opportunities, and keep giving them to themselves, they become more mediocre, more common, more moronic. They really can't survive in this world, right? So that's why everybody say, why are white men so angry? Because they really can't compete. They through years of been given everything and not having to compete, it's hurt them, right? Not having to compete, it's hurt them. So now they're angry because the rest of the world has developed, rest of the non-white world has developed a resilience, right? A resilience, a way of having to build with less and still accomplish. And since these people never have to do that, they can't fail that. It messes them up inside. That's where all the anger is coming from, because they really can't compete, right? They really can't compete, and that's what's really making them angry. And it's gonna get worse. No matter what they do, most black people, I hate to say, y'all gonna leave here, because unless you're gonna just be fighting in the street with these people, because they're now mediocre beyond a level that they're just mediocre people. They have no excellence, and that's what they're angry about. And no one's going to keep giving them stuff, because everybody's now surpassing the Asians. Since they thought they're going to use the Asians as slaves, the Asians now have surpassed them in technical prowess, in building and technical advantage, and surpassed them. That's just a fact. So it's going to get even worse as the Africans start to wake up and start, because Africans are really, even in Kenya, are really smart. And the same thing, the Africans don't even know it. Most Africans, education, they're smarter than white people. That's why the Kenyans do all the white people's school tests. You know, If you don't know that, there's a college industry of Kenyans doing white people school exams, right? Doing the college exams and the high school exams. That's a fact. What is up, Joe? Real quick, hold on. What is up? Go to Google. Say the college industry of Kenyans doing Americans and Europeans exams.
American European exams, yeah?
Yeah, American. So say American and European test exams.
Well, they're called ghosts. I don't know if you're talking about the ghost, right?
That's them. The test there because they're not supposed to know that Kenyans are the ones writing the exams, Joby, passing the test. Yeah, they go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, one of my exes used to do that. But anyway, they're saying if a student in London,
so they act like you don't know that.
it used to make good money. It's good money. It pays well, like actually most of the people. But anyway, if a student in London or New York goes online to pay somebody to do their essay, the chances are the work will actually end up being done by somebody else in Kenya. BBC trending reports from Nairobi to the ghostwriters helping foreigners to cheat. Kennedy used to work as a teacher, but for the past 5 years, he's made his living in a different way. He says, "I do academic writing." He's part of the truly global online industry, which is booming in Kenya. What Kennedy and many other Kenyans call academic writings, the rest of the world calls cheating. If you're a student or a school pupil who is struggling with an assignment or just can't bother, the Kennedy and his team of writers will do it for you. For the right, you then hand it in, pretend it's your own work, and hope you don't get caught. In the middleman in the transaction run so-called essay mail websites on which cheating students post jobs they want doing. The profile pictures of writing for hire on these sites are a sea of white faces. They give the impression of peace will be written by an academic in the West. But like a lot in the business, the picture tends to be fake. In reality, you don't order an online essay. It's highly likely to be written by someone in Kenya, often by a student or a graduate. That is the information about that. Yeah, this has been happening for so long.
Yes, Joby. Because you know why? Because they're academically inferior. But they'll get the job, Joe. They'll get the 100,000, 200,000 job, and the Kenyans will still get shit. Because the system is now designed for them to make money and to get these positions when they're the ones not. They had Shirley Kirk talk about, you're not qualified, you're a DEI hire. But most of these guys are unqualified, Joe.
It's crazy, just super crazy. But as we literally get closer to winding up, let me go to the comments very quickly. Of excuse me, what people are saying on the chat. We have Big Cheese who earlier says no, we are John. Okay. Big Cheese says all those black people supporting Charlie Kirk online are trying to hustle racist people who hate black Americans for views and donations.
I think so too. I think they're so despicable. Exactly. They know they're doing it for money. Exactly right. They know they're doing. They know they all you gotta do is see when you get people hustling, you know, like white people want to hear the racism and the craziness. So that's what they're doing.
And John Mosquito asking, are there any white prisoners there? Of course, the population in Bet is massive.
They're gonna have a few, you know, not many.
Yeah. And Jib also says you can catch a racist by using a whole numbers, which is definite. Sorry, they use statistics which are manipulated. That is Jabba. Big Cheese says the day after Charlie Kirk's death, Donald Trump was at the Yankees game dancing.
Yeah, Trump don't give a shit about none of that.
He was playing golf here. And Big Cheese says, I guarantee you Trump and Netanyahu knew that hit
They
on
did.
Kirk.
They knew exactly. Remember, they both came out the same time, right when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, right? At the same time. And Tel Aviv is 10 hours of difference than Washington. And it was the first person to report, I told you, was the paper in Jerusalem. That's what I told you, it's a hit. Ain't that 22-year-old boy didn't do nothing. If you guys will hear what I said in the beginning, I said there's no way, since I know how to shoot, no way. This is a contract, a young boy, how long he's been shooting, is going to be able to pull off this kind of a shot. Distance, velocity of the weapon, the windage of the air, and then a cry, right? And hit that on target unless you've had years of sniper training. Years, which he hasn't. They're trying to show, oh, he's been using guns since he was a kid at the gun range. That don't mean shit. They ain't got nothing to do with being no damn professional sniper. You know what I shoot? You heard Emil, who's not in it. Emil's been in the Navy 5 times. And he's not even reached expert yet. And that's a fact. Because you're not just a gunman because you got a weapon and you shoot it. That takes years of training. So the idea that this 20-year-old boy Kim is a lie. And that's why I said they had that Israeli plane. Ain't that funny? Israeli plane right beside there in the airport when they're supposed to lock down all the flights out. That one got out, of course, always. So the Jewish plane gets to leave out. And then I also, I'm not even sure this was a sniper technique because I hadn't seen it. I wouldn't look at this thing all weekend, right? That's why I didn't do no show this weekend. Sorry, guys. I was just constantly obsessed with this thing. So, you know, I don't believe nothing they tell us. So I didn't see no blood. If you got something coming from that far back, it's going to make the blood splatter, right? I didn't see no blood on the, go back and check that video. I didn't see no blood on the back of that wall next to him. And I didn't see nobody put up no yellow tape around there as a crime scene. They just started taking down shit. What kind of crime scene is this? What kind of crime scene is this? Something's fishy, man. What kind of crime scene is this? So things don't add up again. This was obviously a hit. Okay? Obviously. Go ahead, Joe.
Big Cheese says the way Officer Tatum and Candice Owens have become millionaires selling these white folks that they want to hear is what they want to hear is brilliant. It's the easiest money hustle in America. And Jiba says, Tautam says if you talk bad about Kirk, in his presence he'll bust you in the mouth. John Mosquito is saying he's gonna finna start calling go on, Keith. Come again. Think we lost you. God of War Karibu says the same man that raised $100,000, sorry, for officer that killed the girl from Kentucky. It's crazy. John Mosquito, good luck with the slang pronunciation. But Jibajab also says, been black all my life and never known anyone doing that. Cleveland isn't that where Steve Harvis is from? That is John Mosquito. Broken arms and broken legs. It's not making sense with that story. And Jason also says,
can you hear me now?
Yes, kid.
Okay. So like I'm saying, okay. Forget what the hell I was saying. So I was yelling. I can't joke. You can hear me. But look, like I'm saying, I lost my train of thought. What the hell was I talking about?
You're talking about Charlie Kirk and the fake assassination.
Oh, well, I was saying that, and Charlie Kirk has so I was saying something. Damn, I got my train of thought.
You're talking about the shooting, saying that you didn't see any blood spillage.
Okay. I didn't see any blood spillage. I mean, it's the first I've seen. I mean, not that. I didn't see no splatter on the back of the wall. I didn't see no crime scene I didn't see no yellow tape crowns. They didn't start picking up everything and getting rid of everything. So I found that strange. I said, what kind of shooting is this? What kind of is going on? What the hell's happening? So like I had Joby show that thing with the Mossad agents telling 60 Minutes, we create the narratives, we create the stage, we're the actors, we're the directors, we're seeing a psyop. Oh, more. I said, oh, he got killed, but whether he got killed or not, I don't know if he's even dead. I'm looking at a damn psyop. I know that. I'm looking at another fake ass 9/11. I know that. So I'm not getting caught in the narrative where they killed him, where they did. It's all fake. This 22-year-old dude is fake, right? I've had weapons training. You don't shoot that good by not having any kind of training for years. That's a lie. It's all fake. So I might not got all the answers, but I know I'm looking at a psyop. I know that. Go ahead, Joe.
God of also says we don't rock with Marcus Garvey, who never been to Africa and got and MLK. Also, Jason says my grandfather made $300 to $500 a week working on things and rebuilding things, especially car and truck motors. Jiba says, Joby, you should start an Ebonics to English translation service. You'll make a fortune. I can't do that. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna start telling people to stop saying you finna. You go ahead and finna do whatever you wanna do, man. You just say I'm going to. You know what is so hard is saying I'm going to. You go finna learn Ebonics or good English somewhere else. I'm sorry. You know, you have Spikes teaching you guys Swahili, so you should learn Swahili. Leave alone the people talking Ebonics. That is good luck for them. That's all I can say. I just don't get it. But anyway, I also see God of War says that's why my family's called me God of War. Okay, we've been training before Keith. We went to college and found out religion was fake, and yeah, and I also see. Yeah, Jason Ale says when my father family came to California in the 1920s, they seen some signs telling folks where they could live, and they moved into what? It's crazy. Yeah, like the video explained, having different a train station written white and black. It's super crazy. But anyway, yeah, we're coming to the end of today's conversation right there. I think we lost Keith again. Keith with his ghetto Bluetooth. I know. I don't know if it's ghetto, but he's in the woods. He said he's in the woods. But yeah, family, coming to the end of today's conversation there. Thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in, and to those who shall be catching this on a replay. Hope you guys get to enjoy. Leave your comments, hit that like button, subscribe. If it is your first time, remember to also download our app on the Google Play Store. Blackout Fire Network is the name. In the morning, you can listen to amazing music, conversations back to back with Water on Shmani, and that is on the radio or maybe on TikTok. But now I see they're being restricted on TikTok, so probably on the radio and on the network, and see what's up. But same time, same place, tomorrow right here on the middle of the 21st century. Have yourselves a beautiful, beautiful day. Yeah, I'm trying. I've been exercising my leg, but I was told not to strain the leg. So I don't know if straining the leg is part of exercising it, because yeah, I can just walk. I can't exercise it though. I can't fold the knee. I've not been able to fold my knee for a month. Yeah, so I'm waiting. I have 2 weeks remaining, then I'll be okay. I hope the fraction will have completed the union. So I'll keep you guys updated on the WhatsApp chat on that day. But yeah, much love. See you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Peace.